Think of cloud computer like on-demand network resources that run through the internet. For example, all your compute power, databases, storage, applications, and any other IT resources that you might need to run your operation. All these resources run on data centers across the world. In our case, AWS runs on Amazon's data center. They own and maintain the hardware, so you don't have to, which is a great advantage of the cloud over a traditional environment. And they also provide you with multiple tools to create the solutions that you need. And that's when hardware turns into software. You no longer have to maintain hardware to run your infrastructure. All you have to focus on is on deploying and improving your solutions. In a traditional computing model, infrastructure means physical hardware. That means you will have physical space and physical security to keep your hardware safe. You will need people to maintain it, and you will need to purchase the equipment up front. In this traditional model, the procurement process is typically what keeps you from upgrading your equipment, making improvements to your current system, or simply slows down the purchasing process of any new equipment that you might need. The procurement cycle includes the purchasing, the installing, and the maintaining of all your infrastructure. In this model, you always have to remember to have enough memory, enough storage space to store your files. You have to make sure that you have plenty of CPUs to run all the applications that you need at the same time. And you're always reminded of the ever-changing needs of your business, which typically influence your overall IT infrastructure. In a cloud computing model, infrastructure becomes essentially software. An important word to remember is the word elastic, which means you can increase and decrease resources as needed without having to purchase more memory or more storage space or expand another node in your system. The word elastic here means that you can expand and contract as needed. The same is true for pay as you go. You will pay for what you need for that day, that month, depending on how heavily your applications are being used. So you might have an application or a server that's used more heavily during a certain time of the year. You're gonna pay more during those months, but then when it's not being used, you'll essentially pay a lot less to run that application or that server. In a cloud computing model, resources are often referred as being temporary or disposable because you don't own them 100% of the time. You only own them when you need them. And this can change by the minute. Because it's dynamic, you don't have to constantly upgrade your resources in order for your systems to perform the way you expect them or that you need them to. This is what gives your business flexibility to implement new tools or new solutions for your employees or your customers fast and with very little upfront cost. The cloud computing model, it's more agile than the traditional model. You can deploy faster, you can upgrade faster, you can improve faster. You can fast track the procurement process, and you have a lot less to worry about when it comes to capacity and maintenance. This allows you to focus more on your business and maintaining and running the infrastructure. Another thing to keep in mind is that the AWS cloud offers different service models and deployment strategies, which comes with different levels of control, flexibility, and management features. There are three basic service models within the AWS cloud. We have infrastructure as a service, which would be the equivalent of all your network resources, from switches to firewalls and servers, to the storage space that you need to run your applications and store your data. Platform as a service includes all the operating systems and the testing and programming platforms to build your applications. Here you'll have the operating systems, you have Amazon Elastic Beanstalk for app development, which is a platform that has multiple programming languages so you can build software and applications. Software as a service, usually your end user applications. Here we're talking about web-based email, such as Microsoft Exchange, or you can think in terms of any mobile applications that you might be running on your phone. Companies need to host these applications somewhere, and they provide them to you as a service. The same is true for web-based applications like Dropbox or Netflix or even the App Store. You also have three different deployment methods. You can deploy fully on the cloud, you can deploy it using a hybrid method, or you can stay fully on premise. In a cloud deployment, applications are fully deployed in the cloud, and all parts of the application run in the cloud, such as its database, the code of the application, and all its features. In a hybrid model, the application might be hosted in the cloud, but there might be components or features that rely on resources hosted on-prem. For example, you might host your website in the cloud, but you might have a database of files that could be stored in your local servers. In an on-premise model, all your applications and servers are deployed in your own data center. This could be a space that you lease through a company or in a server room in your business or campus, but all the resources are stored locally in your environment. This type of deployment method, it's usually referred to as a private cloud. Lastly, for this section, we have a comparison between AWS and a traditional infrastructure environment. This is simply a list of AWS services that could replace your on-premise components. For traditional network security, you can use network access control list. You can use the AWS Identity and Access Management combined with security groups and access control lists to replace your typical network security. You can use Elastic Load Balancing and Amazon VPC to replace traditional network routers and switches. You can use Amazon Machine Images and EC2 to replace all your physical servers that you would typically have in your data center. And to replace your traditional storage components, you can use Amazon EFS and Amazon S3 alongside Relational Database Service or RDS.